stop it from moving. And it works like putting a lid on a boiling pot, and the high pressure system traps hot air below it, which heats up and compresses to form this dome. And this dome intensifies heat in the region below. It also prevents the formation of clouds, so you get these very clear, sunny days with the sun beating down directly onto the ground, and still conditions with very little wind coming through to cool things down.
And Europe is the world's fastest warming continent, but this isn't just a European thing, right? These can happen anywhere in the world.
Heat domes are not specific to Western Europe. It's a phenomenon we've seen in other regions as well, and just in the last few weeks we saw a heat dome occur in the United States. And there is a global trend at play here linked to climate change, which is that the buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which are mostly from burning fossil fuels, has raised the planet's average overall temperature over time. And this increase in baseline temperatures means that when a heat wave comes, wherever it is, it has the potential to surge to even higher temperature peaks.
That increase in baseline temperatures will, according to forecasts, have the tiny Pacific island nation of Tuvalu mostly underwater within the next 25 years. And while the country is making plans for that by sending its first climate change refugees to Australia, right now it has another problem on its hands. Tuvalu says it's been accidentally added to Washington's potential travel ban list. Kirsty Needham is in Sydney.
So the UN ambassador in New York said he had been told by at least one US official that it was an administrative error, and this was the reason Tuvalu appeared on that list that was leaked to the media last month. And Tuvalu's government have put out a statement today saying that they'd been told by the US Embassy in Fiji, which covers the Pacific Island region, that it was an error in the system. Tuvalu is feeling nervous, it seems, from their public statements because they want these assurances in writing. But Reuters has heard from a US official familiar with visa policy and who's saying no decisions have been made and any speculation's premature. One other aspect about this list that was causing concern in the Pacific was Washington had suggested that some of these 36 countries should be accepting deportees from the United States. Now, obviously, this was going to be problematic for Tuvalu, which is 400 metres wide at its widest, but a lot of villages cling to a slice of land just 20 metres wide.
And many of those people are trying to get out.
That's right. NASA scientists have a dire prediction that by 2050, daily tides will submerge half of the main atoll, Funafuti, where 60% of the population live. So Australia and Tuvalu have struck a landmark climate agreement that will allow 280 people a year from Tuvalu to migrate to Australia to live, work, and have the benefits of healthcare. And already over a third of the population have applied.
The Dalai Lama, who is about to turn 90, will in the coming days reveal how his successor will be chosen. He's lived in exile in northern India since 1959, after fleeing a failed uprising against the rule of Mao Zedong's communists. China says its leaders have the right to approve the Dalai Lama's successor as a legacy from imperial times. Krishna Das is on site for the major gathering of Buddhist religious figures this week. Krishna, walk us through how the Dalai Lama's successor is traditionally found.
So what happened with the current Dalai Lama was he was identified at the age of 2 in Tibet. An oracle would have a vision. The previous Dalai Lama will possibly leave some clues, and then a team of government people would go and look for a child who would be the next Dalai Lama. What's different is, the Dalai Lama set up a foundation in 2015 called Hidden Foreground Foundation. Its members are some of his aides, some of his secretaries, and what they will do is once the Dalai Lama has passed away, they will be responsible to identify the next Dalai Lama.
And there's this standoff with China. Can you tell us a bit about that and how that came to be?
Yeah, so China believes it has been controlling Tibet for centuries. And the problem started when the Communist Party in China in the 1950s tried to assert its dominance on Tibet. And so there was an uprising from the Tibetans, and based on some guidance from an oracle in Tibet and on fears of abduction by Chinese authorities, the Dalai Lama fled to India in 1959. China, of course, calls the Dalai Lama a separatist and as someone who has no right to lead the Tibetan people. So that is what the standoff is at the moment.
What's the vibe like there? Lots of celebrities and tourists have arrived, right? Even Richard Gere?
Lots of tourists have arrived here and celebrities have also arrived. He has been a great follower of the Dalai Lama for a very long time, along with Nancy Pelosi of the US. Richard Gere is one of the these two people are some of the greatest vote supporters of the Dalai Lama and the cause of the Tibetans.
And for today's recommended read, a Reuters investigation into a wave of killings in Alawite communities along Syria's Mediterranean coast in March. Our investigation has pieced together how the massacres unfolded, identifying a chain of command leading from the attackers directly to the men who serve alongside Syria's new leaders in Damascus. You can read the full story on the link in the pod description. For more on any of the stories from today, check out Reuters.com or the Reuters app. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast player. We'll be back tomorrow with our daily headline show.
An all-night vote-a-rama. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. Senators have been working non-stop overnight on amendments to the president's big, beautiful bill and just voted to remove a provision that would have blocked states from regulating artificial intelligence for 10 years. GOP Senator Marsha Blackburn.
This body has proven that they cannot legislate on emerging technology. It is frustrating.
Majority Leader John Thune has been working to nail down support from at least 5 uncommitted GOP senators for the final bill. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says Republicans are struggling because a lot of them are embarrassed by it.
This bill, as we have said for months, steals people's health care, jacks up their electricity bill, takes away their jobs, all to pay for tax breaks for billionaires.
The Senate's version of the budget bill adds $3.3 trillion to the deficit. Former Presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush delivered rare open criticism of the Trump administration in an emotional video farewell yesterday with staffers of the U.S. Agency for International Development. Former President Obama called the Trump administration's dismantling of USAID a colossal mistake. Today, USAID will be absorbed into the State Department. Investigators in Idaho say they still don't have a motive for Sunday's shooting death of 2 firefighters and the injury of a third.
The local sheriff in Idaho identifying the shooter as 20-year-old Wes Rowley. Investigators say he appeared to be living out of his vehicle. And while a manifesto hasn't been found, authorities say he intentionally set a fire using a flint, then lured firefighters to the scene. Once they arrived, firefighters were ambushed and shot at.
Fox's Jeff Paul. And the S&P 500 and NASDAQ closed at back-to-back record highs. The Dow added 276 points. America's listening to Fox News.
It's Will Kane Country. Watch it live at noon Eastern, Monday through Thursday at foxnews.com or on the Fox News YouTube channel. And don't miss the show. Listen and follow the podcast 5 days a week at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Fox News.
President Trump plans to attend today's opening of a migrant detention center in the Florida Everglades.
Dubbed the Alligator Alcatraz, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump will visit the 5,000-bed detention center in the Florida Everglades.
There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain.
Levitt calls the facility an efficient and low-cost way to carry out the largest mass deportation program in U.S. history. Environmental groups are opposed and filed a lawsuit arguing the detention site will disrupt and threaten the Everglades ecosystem. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
State and federal prosecutors charge more than 320 people and recover nearly $15 billion in what they describe as the largest coordinated takedown of healthcare fraud schemes in Justice Department history. Air travel will soon be easier for U.S. military members.
The Transportation Security Administration announced upcoming changes at several airport security checkpoints nationwide, including a special lane for active duty U.S. service members. The new TSA lanes will be at airports near major military installations, including San Antonio, El Paso, and Austin, Texas, Anchorage, Alaska, Fayetteville, North Carolina, as well as Nashville, San Diego, Atlanta, and Seattle. The Department of Homeland Security also announced expanded TSA pre-check benefits to military members and their families. Tom Graham, Fox News.
Humanoid robots captivated fans in Beijing over the weekend with a fully automated soccer match powered by AI. 4 teams of robots competed in a tournament, marking a first in China and a preview for the upcoming World Humanoid Robot Games. I'm Carmen Roberts. This is Fox News.
I'm Janice Dean. Join me every Sunday as I focus on stories of hope and people who are truly rays of sunshine in their community and across the world.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com.
This Tech Check briefing is sponsored by Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Hey, I'm Deirdre Bosa, and this is your CNBC Tech Check briefing. President Trump saying in an interview this weekend that he has a group of, quote, very wealthy people ready to buy TikTok. Trump adding that the deal would likely need Beijing's approval to move forward, but that he believes China will sign off. TikTok's fate has been in limbo since a 2024 law was passed to force divestment from the app's Chinese owner over concerns the Chinese government could manipulate content and access sensitive data. Earlier this month, Trump extended the deadline for ByteDance to divest from the platform's U.S. businesses for the 3rd time since taking office. Tesla says it has made its first driverless delivery of a new car to a customer in Austin, Texas on Friday, routing a Model Y SUV from the company's Austin Gigafactory to an apartment building nearby. Tesla released video showing the car traversing public roads without a human in the driver or passenger seat. The company has not said when or if that technology might be available to its customers. Tesla debuted its robotaxis in Austin late this month, and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating over possible defects in their FSD systems after cars were seen violating traffic rules. And Google is announcing its first commercial commitment to fusion in a partnership with Commonwealth Fusion Systems, a private company spun off from MIT. The tech giant plans to buy 200 megawatts of clean fusion power from what is being described as the world's first grid-scale fusion power plant, known as ARP. That plant is expected to come online in the early 2030s. Google has also invested in other fusion startups as many companies look to the technology to help ease energy demands brought on by the AI boom. That's all for today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
This Tech Check briefing is sponsored by Comcast Business. With leading networking and connectivity, advanced cybersecurity, and expert partnership, Comcast Business helps turn today's enterprises into engines of modern business. Powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
This is DW News, and these are our top stories. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz has suggested his country's military campaign in Gaza is nearing completion. This as health officials and witnesses in Gaza say more than 70 people were killed by Israeli airstrikes and gunfire on Monday. One of the attacks hit a crowded seaside cafe in Gaza City, which witnesses say was filled with women and children. Wildfires have caused widespread destruction in Turkey. More than 50,000 people have been forced to leave their homes. The fires have been fueled by the summer's first major heat wave, also hitting much of Europe. France's capital, Paris, issued a red alert for temperatures. Officials have shut the top of the iconic Eiffel Tower and banned polluting traffic from the streets. insurance coverage and reduced access to food assistance. You're watching DW News. There's much more to be found on our website. That's DW.com.